Breaking into tech can be thrilling, but the sheer amount of information that you have to learn can be overwhelming. As your career coach, I'm going to guide you through some steps to help keep you motivated, avoid burnout, and make your transition into tech a little bit easier.
All right, the first one I want to talk about is consistency versus intensity. That I think is very important.
I agree.
Because I see students, they wait until the weekend to actually spend 10 hours studying.
Yes.
I think it's a better idea to study 1 hour a day than cram 10 hours every Saturday.
Absolutely.
It actually is, you have to spend less time studying, you absorb the material better, you stay exposed to the material longer, it's actually more sustainable. That's one thing I see that people, if they knew, they should embrace.
Yeah, it's definitely more effective. And I know earlier we were just talking about the Pomodoro approach, right? To take 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off. And I think you even set a timer, right?
Yeah, I have a timer. I have a physical timer that I bought. You can buy that on Amazon for like $20. But it actually helps you track your Pomodoro technique. And you can also download an app and put it on your computer. But on having something that helps you take systematic breaks and systematic focus time really helps.
Yeah.
Really, really helps.
I think it especially helps with tech because in tech, we know things break along the way, right? Or the project may change at the drop of a hat. I see very commonly with students in apprenticeship stage that they get frustrated when there's a delay for some reason. They have to shift gears. So I think using that technique is a great way to learn how to start and stop, right? Even if you don't want to stop, because troubleshooting sometimes can take hours and people don't want to take that break.
And not only that, sometimes you don't stop because you are blocked. You stop because the other team is blocked and their process is connected to your process.
Right, right.
Or you are blocked because you haven't gotten the okay yet to actually continue. Not because you don't know what you're doing.
Right.
So you have to learn how to stop and be able to resume without, losing motivation.
Yeah, you have to know how to shift gears.
Yeah.
You have to be adaptable.
That's definitely very important and typical in a tech environment.
Yeah, for sure. So you touched on this next one a little bit when you talked about, students that try to cram in all the studying on a Saturday. We know it just doesn't work. So making tech a part of your everyday life, right? It should be something, especially when you're in those early stages of the learning phase, it should be part of your day-to-day, no matter what.
That's why I tell students, figure out how you're gonna pay for this, figure out how to involve and get the buy-in of your family, and then figure out the time. Because it doesn't matter if you are very committed, if you don't have the time to put into this, it's not going to work.
No, it's not. And that will quickly lead to burnout, right? Is feeling like you're constantly running out of time. This is also why prioritizing your tasks is so important. That's true in any job, right? That should be a skill that is, you should already be halfway there if you're moving into a professional role.
One thing I know, for me at least, that helps me is to surround myself with like-minded people. Because when you're in a place where people are not constantly questioning, why are you doing this? Why are you studying so late? Why do you even think that's important? It's better. It's just easier on you.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if you have a significant other or even just a roommate, right? Just someone that's in your day-to-day life. If they're really challenging that goal, it makes it so much more challenging for you to be able to believe in that goal.
Yeah.
So that is true even in our cohort community, right? We know that cohorts that have more positive verbal communication with each other actually perform better.
Yeah, it's this. The opposite is as true. When my wife was transitioning, I was doing actually the opposite. I was actively creating space for her to go and study. We had a newborn. I created space to be the one taking care of the newborn and making sure she goes to Panera to study. Basically, making space everywhere I can. You know, be in the room where she's in the office. Take Zoe out to the park for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that she's crying, ready to go back home,
Right.
because I wanted to give her at least 2 hours to study. So when you also have an accountability partner that's creating space for you, it changes the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
both extremes, you know, have their impact, their real impact, you see.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Because your accountability partner should not only be somebody who is just strictly holding you accountable, right? But also working with you. Maybe they're sharing what helps them stay accountable, right? It's a positive accountability partner, not a shameful one. That's also critical.
One thing I think that also helps me, especially in the business world, now I'm more in the business world than in the tech world, is surround myself with people that are in business as well, but physically, meaning going to conventions, going to meetups,
Yeah.
going to workshop. I think there's a different energy, a different connection when you are physically in the same space as people who are doing the same thing, trying the same thing, and
Sure.
having the same goal.
Absolutely.
So find a way to physically get involved with people and meetups and conventions and workshop and so on.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, Zoom, yeah, it works most of the time. It's important we understand the limitations, but when you can, get to meet people in person.
Yeah, absolutely. And we know that in-person connection really works, right? We know that this is something that there's a time and a place for it, sure. Like if you have a role that can be done remotely, I think we would both agree on this. It's ridiculous to have them go into the office, right? You don't need that. But even for us, you know, we work remotely, but from time to time having some in-person time we know is effective. It helps boost morale. And it's the same for your day-to-day life or your professional growth.
Yeah, I think so too. And master the essential, right? So you have to understand where you're comfortable and focus on the core part of your training and make sure you master that. These are important things you need to look at as you grow in tech in general.
Yeah, this is the prioritizing what you need to do, right? Start with the basics, start with foundational information and work your way up. You don't need to, don't try to skip, right? Don't skip the steps. We have to tell our students this a lot. Trust the process.
Yeah, actually, in my talk, The Biggest Myth in IT, I have a whole slide about don't skip the fundamentals. Because sometimes they think they can get away without it. And you can get away without it for a little bit of time. Meaning when you go to an interview, they're not going to ask you about the basics. But the basics are what glues everything together. That's what gives you the contextual knowledge you need for the industry. If you skip that, people will realize that very soon.
Absolutely. This is like the difference between having a bad resume and a great resume. You'll still get hired with a bad resume, but you'll get options with a great resume. You'll get hired without maybe knowing the foundations, but you're not going to get options.
Or fired.
Yeah, you'll get fired.
I've seen that a few times.
Yes.
I've seen that a few times.
Yes, we have.
I have a few people, they've BS themselves through an interview probably on a Friday afternoon when everybody's ready to go home. They're like, yeah, give this guy the job. But the fundamentals weren't there for him to keep the job.
Right.
And at Yellowtail Tech, we really put emphasis on career as opposed to job. So that's why we focus on the fundamentals.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So what else? What else do we have in terms of tips for people?
I think also considering your learning style, right? Everybody learns differently. You need to consider what your learning style is. And I know this comes up so often in kickoff. There are some people who love to take notes, paper to pen, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm actually one of them. Fun fact, even though I'm the one that's constantly driving our students to break that habit, all of my notes, all of my to-do lists, pen and paper. The thing is that the muscle memory in a skill like Linux is so critical. You need to be typing those notes out so that you have the muscle memory. The same way that you need to do interview practicing and communication practicing, right? Even practicing body language, to your point of being in person. So knowing your learning style is important, and then sticking to it, not trying to force yourself into being someone who can learn, from lecture, when really you're going to learn best from reading, you know?
Well, I have a last one.
Yeah.
Stick to one program at a time.
Yes. Yeah.
I see that a lot. They are enrolled at Yellowtail Tech, but they are trying to complete a course on Udemy, one on Coursera. The idea, at least in their head, is the more I get, the faster I'm gonna get the faster I'm gonna get to the job, which is false.
Yeah.
You're just gonna confuse yourself, burn yourself out. And to me, this is the one I would end with. Focus, put your horse blinders on, focus on the program that you chose.
Yeah.
And then get it to completion.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there are many ways, many tricks to avoid burnout, but the main one is to focus and take it slowly, and stick to the fundamentals first, and then build on top of it. At Yellowtail Tech, in our community, that's what we preach, that's what we encourage, and we see that it works.